that's the exercise you go with, because you're going to want to do it every single time. Even when you're resting, you're going to be thinking about doing it and pushing it harder as far as you can past your limits, and you're going to love every second of it. Hey, what's up, guys? So today I wanted to do a video talking about why I do not get optimal training. Now, this isn't meant to bash anybody in particular. Like, if you do optimal training, if you pick all of your exercises based on what is supposed to be the most optimal and that's what you enjoy, then more power to you. That's great. Do what you love. What I mean specifically is dogmatism, okay? I'm not here to tell you that anybody's wrong, but what I don't like is, I'm sure you guys have seen, especially on social media, the optimal crowd. They have this idea that there's a right way and a wrong way to go about training. Or at the very least, and this is the part that really gets on my nerves, is that they criticize prioritizing enjoyment. And what I mean by that is that I've seen it happen multiple times where somebody will say the best way to make progress is to pick lifts that you enjoy and get brutally strong at them. And then I'll see somebody come in and be like, well, no, that's actually not true. You need to do, this to hit this angle and that, and then, biomechanics and science. And this gets on my nerves partly because, at least in my experience, this is not necessarily true. And for another thing, just let people have fun. Honestly, for 99% of us who lift, it's not that serious. We're not going to be stepping on stage. And it's like, okay, if you follow all of the science-based stuff, will you get results faster? Maybe, but in most cases, I don't think it's going to be so much faster that you're actually going to notice. But to talk for a moment on why I think that pushing this optimal narrative is not necessarily true, especially in my experience, is that enjoyment factor really, really does make a difference. In my experience, the two biggest factors, if you just take emotion out of it, are effort and consistency. If you put in a high degree of effort consistently over a long period of time, that is what produces results. So, what is going to make you not just give that effort and keep that consistency, but actually want to put in the effort and want to maintain the consistency? Enjoyment. Picking exercises you love doing. Picking exercises that, even if the science says that it's not optimal, even if your favorite science-based or optimal-based influencer says oh yeah, this is like a B tier or a C tier exercise. If you freaking love that exercise, and every time you do that exercise, you get hyped up and you just go at it until your muscles are just screaming at you, and that just feels so good, that's the exercise you go with. Because you're going to want to do it every single time. Even when you're resting, you're going to be thinking about doing it and pushing it harder as far as you can past your limits, and you're going to love every second of it. Which is not to say that you can't put in a high degree of effort and be consistent with an exercise that you don't like or just have mixed feelings about that's more quote-unquote optimal. But I don't think you will put in as much effort as you will with an exercise that you just absolutely love. To give you an example, let me give you a hypothetical situation. Let's use bicep curls as an example. Say you have two people, okay? The first one does everything optimally, and let's say they pick Bayesian curls, because Bayesian curls are popular with that crowd. And let's say, yeah, they put in a lot of effort, but Every time they go do those Bayesian curls, they're like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. They have to build themselves up to it. Then let's say you have a second person who just absolutely loves the hell out of concentration curls. Every single time that they do concentration curls, they're not trying to build themselves up. No, every time that they do it, they're like, yes, let's go. We're going Super Saiyan today. Who do you honestly think is going to be more consistent? Who do you think is honestly going to push harder? In my opinion, it's going to be the second person every single time, no matter what. And they're going to keep coming back to that exercise and pushing it as hard as they possibly can every single time. Versus the first person, they're going to have to work themselves up to it. They're going to have to convince themselves to put in the effort. And it's going to weigh on them after a while. This is also one of the reasons why I don't like exercise tier rankings, because it's so highly subjective. I mean, like, what's an S tier exercise? It's it's one that you get freaking hyped as hell to do before you even start. That's an S tier exercise. It's one where you load up the weight and you load the weight higher than before, and it's like, yeah, you're a little intimidated, but you're ready to just absolutely crush it, and you're excited before you even try. So yeah, I don't get it. And I don't get how these people can ignore that enjoyment is a big factor. Especially, again, 99% of us are not ever stepping on stage. This is a hobby for most of us. Enjoy your hobby. Like, if your hobby makes you miserable, like, don't do it. Either find a way to make it enjoyable or find a different hobby. And, in the long term, like, even if somebody showed me definitive proof that, like, okay, yeah, if you do everything 100% optimally, like, then you'll get faster results, then it's like, okay, well, what? Let's say it takes on average about 10 years to max out your natty potential. Let's say if you do everything optimally, how much time are you really going to save? A couple of years at most, if you're lucky? Okay, so it'll take 8 years instead of 10? Like, you're not really going to notice that. So have fun along the way. You're going to the same destination. So, if it takes slightly longer to get there, then who cares? Have fun with it. But I do seriously think that you will get there a little bit faster if you're just enjoying the hell out of it. Now, the other thing that I don't get is how these people just cannot accept a difference of opinion. Because like I said, again, if you love to train optimally, or if that's just what you've chosen to do, and, cool, I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong. That's what you like to do, or that's what you've chosen to do, go for it. But the optimal and the science-based crowd they seemingly can't accept that other things also work, okay? There's no one right way to do this stuff. There's a lot of different ways work just as well. And some ways work better for other people. But one of the things is, I used to train that way. I used to, try to do everything science-based and, do the most optimal exercises. And it works, but I've honestly had better results just doing what I find to be fun, regardless of what the science says. And when I bring this up, the answer that I get is that, oh, well, you must have been doing it wrong. Or, oh, well, doing these exercises, these more complicated exercises, is just confusing for you. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Like, it's not confusing. And, then they're like, oh, well, you just want to do something that's comfortable. You shy away from discomfort. I'm like, no, the opposite. Like, it's like the exercises that I love them because they make me, they hurt in the best way. Because I love them, and that makes me push them so hard. And like my muscles are just absolutely screaming at me. I absolutely love that. But I can never convince them of this because they just can't accept it. They have it in their heads that this is the absolute best way, and if it doesn't work for you, then you're the problem. You were doing it wrong. I don't get that. In fact, I reject that. But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. That was just a little rant that I wanted to get off my chest, because one of the reasons I did start this channel was just to have a place to sort of rant or vent or just talk about my thoughts about lifting because I don't have anybody in my personal life that I can do that with. So this is an outlet for me. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think about optimal or science-based lifting? Is that something that you do? Are you as dogmatic as the people that I apparently always find online? Or are you one of the chill ones that's like, hey, I think it's the best way, but you do you? And let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.